moments, remember the Master and pray for the welfare of the whole humanity. Te Hari Om Tat Sat Om Stapakaya Jadharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Stapakaya Jadharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityormamritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to remove all our ignorance, to show us the path of knowledge, to give illumination, to get immortality. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Sri Ramakrishna would go into samadhi state many times each day and night. It was very natural to him. Even if he just hears one syllable of the divine name, immediately his mind would jump to the highest state of bliss. His mind was so tuned to the divine, many times it was rather very difficult for him to come down to the phenomenal world. Many times he would spend in ecstasy. He had wonderful visions and experiences. So when he came down from that superconscious state, he would teach pearls of wisdom which were so effective, which was so direct. They would inspire the devotees. They would feel so much charmed to hear every word coming out of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna said, once a person gets that experience of samadhi, that is going beyond the realm of mind, then he will no more be charmed by any worldly things. That is the indication of an enlightened soul. He is no more deluded by the world. The secret is revealed. He is in direct communion with the divine power. He becomes absorbed in the consciousness of God. And he always experiences inexpressible joy, limitless joy. So, once a person gets that joy, one cannot find words to express the joy of samadhi. That is why Swami Vivekananda used to tell Sri Ramakrishna he would be willing to be always in nirvikalpa samadhi, because he knew what nirvikalpa samadhi meant. It is a state of bliss. There is no more botheration there of any kind. So, as I said earlier, the mind of such a person has become superfine. It has been refined thoroughly. Then it loses all attachment to worldly things once for all. There is no more attachment in such a person. He is not attached to anything. One may have spiritual concentration and meditation, but the important point we should note, as Sri Ramakrishna said, is that one should never forget to love God. To love God is the core of religion. It is the core of religious practices. What is the use of life if one doesn't love God? Sri Ramakrishna, he was always concerned about the youngsters like Narendra and Rakhal. He was very anxious to know about them. Whenever they would come, he would be in ecstatic joy, and people were wonderstruck. How is it if a person has experienced samadhi, he has no more attachment on anything, then how is it Sri Ramakrishna is attached to these youngsters? A question may be asked. In fact, this question was put by Hazra, who was a Vedantin in his own way. The reason has been given by Sri Ramakrishna himself. Why he is after these youngsters? Why? Because the mind, once it is well established in that high superconscious state, it has to be occupied in some way in the phenomenal world. When the mind descends to the level of the world from that high superconscious samadhi state, otherwise how can he help the people? In the case of ordinary people, the mind doesn't come back. So once the river, a particular river, merges in the ocean, there is no more coming back. It is finished. It has become part and parcel of the ocean. It is just like that. A spiritual aspirant, when he reaches that highest state of samadhi, he becomes one with God. He experiences he is God himself. Aham Brahmasmi, I am that Brahman. It is no more a theory. He is actually that. So, something is necessary to keep the mind in the phenomenal level. So Sri Ramakrishna was always seeking the company of the devotees endowed with sattva, because God manifests himself more clearly in those devotees who are sattvic, in those who are no more interested in the glamour of lust and money. That attraction is dead. No more. Mind is no more going in that direction. It is free from that. That is why all the Mahatmas clearly state that it is very important to keep the mind at the sattvic level, which is rather very difficult when we are busy in the world, carrying on various responsibilities. So this is the first point which Sri Ramakrishna has said, why he is attached to these youngsters. He is immediately attracted towards the people who are pure-hearted. Whoever it is, his heart would reach them. And he was ready to help them in any manner. And he did help them. He guided them. He trained them. He gave them illumination. Gave everything what is needed. And then, after training them fully well, he gave the whole band of his disciples for the welfare of the humanity. The greatest contribution of Sri Ramakrishna is the gift of his wonderful disciples to the world, who have no caste prejudices, who have no prejudices of any kind, whose minds are pure, simple, highly sattvic. That is the greatest contribution which Sri Ramakrishna has given us. The second point which I have taken up for explanation is that regarding the riches, what's the observation of Sri Ramakrishna? How did he look upon them? The riches are very important as far as we are concerned. But Sri Ramakrishna's view is different. People love their own riches. It's obvious, everybody knows it. And so, they think God loves them too. Can one ever bring God under control through wealth? Through offering money? I offer you $500,000. You give me your realization. Is it possible? Once Shambhu Malik, a devotee, he requested Sri Ramakrishna to bless him that he may die leaving his riches at the lotus feet of God. Sri Ramakrishna replied, well, these are riches only to you. What riches can you offer to God? To him, these are mere dust and straw. Nothing more than that. Sri Ramakrishna gives an example how once a thief stole the jewels of Lord Vishnu in Dakshineshwar temple. There is the Radhakanta temple. Mathur Babu who was looking after the temple, everything, he became very upset when he came to know that all the jewelry has been stolen. He became so restless and angry. With whom? With God. So he is addressing to God, what is shame? What is shame on you? You couldn't prevent the thief taking away all the ornaments from your body. You kept quiet. You couldn't act upon. So he is expressing this way loudly. Sri Ramakrishna heard it. And Sri Ramakrishna immediately retorted and told him, what are you talking about? It is not shame on God, it is shame on you. These jewels are just lumps of clay to God. Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, is his consort. Do you mean to say that God should be alert because a thief has taken away your few riches? Don't say such things. So then Sri Ramakrishna makes a remark. It's very important for us, the spiritual aspirants, to know these things. God cannot be tempted by money. He can be reached only through love. Only through love, through bhakti, through prem, God can be obtained. Not by offering huge sums of money. What God wants from his devotees is love, devotion, feeling, discrimination, and renunciation. God looks into these things. If we have these features in us, God himself will run to us. Because God wants people of such caliber. There is a wonderful episode in Mahabharata, probably you are all aware of it. You know, before the Mahabharata war broke out between Kauravas and Pandavas, Lord Krishna tried to prevent such a catastrophe. He knew the war would take place. He knew who will be killed. He knew the future events. The Lord of the universe, he knows past, present, future. But still he is acting upon, in the human level, Lord Krishna himself tells, otherwise people will not understand. Oh, Krishna kept quiet, he could have done. Why did he not try peace mission, etc. People unnecessarily talk about. So in order to pacify them, in order to follow the human traditions, let us put that way, Lord Krishna, even though he knew the end result, he came. He came for trying peace mission. He came to Hastinapur. In fact, Draupadi and Bhima, they were all very concerned and they didn't want any peace to be done with Kauravas. They were after war. We must punish these most wicked people on the earth. Even Draupadi was telling Krishna, but Krishna assured Draupadi, don't worry, nobody can prevent war. But I'm trying, don't worry about that. So in a way, Krishna assured Draupadi. In another way, he is trying for peace mission. But he is trying sincerely. You must know that. So he has come to talk to these people about preventing the war. Dhritarashtra, the king, he came to know about Sri Krishna's visit. So he made elaborate arrangements to receive Krishna. And he called Vidura and he told him, well, I want to give Krishna many precious gems and costly gifts. I want to give him a chariot and horses and 1,000 other things. He deserves all this and much more too. The idea of my giving all these things to Krishna is that I want to please him. Underline this statement. Dhritarashtra wants to please Krishna by offering gifts. That is the usual way how the worldly people do. If you want to develop a friendship, you take him to a restaurant, give him a nice meal, give him a drink. He will be with you always, at least for the time being. He will be your best friend. He will act upon whatever you want. Tongue is so powerful. Tongue. So he thought Krishna could be taken to his side by these methods. But Vidura, a great devotee, he knew Dhritarashtra's heart, how crooked his heart was, how his heart was after Duryodhana, though he knew that Duryodhana was the personification of wickedness, still he is not preventing him doing mischief. So Vidura is telling to the king, well, you are trying to offer gifts to Krishna. You can't conceal anything from me. You are thinking of methods by which you can bribe Krishna. How is it you have become suddenly so very generous? You are prepared to give so much to Krishna, who is to talk to you about the Pandavas, but you have not the heart to part with even 5 villages as far as the Pandavas are concerned. Just 5 villages. Now you are suddenly coming up with this gesture. You cannot win Krishna over to your side so easily as all that. You think you can buy that great Krishna by your cheap wealth. For you the wealth may be very prominent, very important. Please do not insult Sri Krishna. I can tell you, nothing, no amount of coaxing or pleading can please Sri Krishna. So he expressed his opinion about the plan of Dhritarashtra. Well, Sri Krishna came. First he came to the palace of Dhritarashtra and he talked with him. Then, I am not going to the details. It's a very interesting episode. Then he goes to the palace of Duryodhana to talk to him, to inform that he has come. And Duryodhana was seated on his throne. Shakuni, Dushasana and Karna, his counselors, they were all sitting by his side. When Krishna entered the palace, the Shakuni, Dushasana and Karna, they all stood up to receive him, to greet him. But Duryodhana was so full of vanity, pride, he did not get up from the seat to welcome Sri Krishna. He was so egoistic and he wanted to show his power to Krishna that way. He wanted to assert himself that he was the ruler of the whole kingdom. Nobody else could occupy his place. Then Duryodhana is telling Sri Krishna, Krishna, we have made elaborate arrangements for your stay and for your pleasant amusements. Everything is done. Not only that, we have prepared excellent dishes for you. But I understand You refuse all this hospitality and just you are thinking to go to Vidura's home. How is it? By this act of yours, I am feeling very much hurt. Duryodhana is telling Krishna, it is wrong of you to have been indifferent to our hospitality. You know I am the king. I am responsible for your safety and all other factors. And moreover, there is no enmity between you and me. We are quite fond of you. So why should you refuse? Why do you want to go to that poor man's cottage? He is calling Vidura poor man. Lord Krishna smiled. Krishna is very famous for smiling. His smile is very attractive. And he said, Duryodhana, I am afraid I have to be frank with you. I am not interested in your grand feast. No, not at all. I do not relish food in the house of a person who is not righteous. You are unrighteous throughout your life. You are so brutal and torturous. You are tormenting the good people, full of jealousy and hatred. So do you expect me to take food in your home? No. You have been hating the Pandavas without any reason. He who is a slave to avarice and ill-treats the Pandavas is considered by me to be the lowliest of men. You hate them. So the food which you offer me is the food of an enemy. It is a poison. It must not be eaten. This is the opinion of Sri Krishna. And telling like this, Sri Krishna just got up and walked away. He came to the house of Vidura, who received him with great affection. He pleased Sri Krishna with his worship. He offered arghya and flowers at his lotus feet. He offered milk. He was so courteous, so full of love. God is pleased with him, not with the wealth of Duryodhana. The wealth of the worldly people is like that of the Duryodhana. How many people do earn money with proper means? Who is to judge? So Sri Krishna took his food there in the humble cottage of Vidura. And the Lord of the universe, he is taking rest in poor man's cottage. There is a Sanskrit verse, Vipado naiva vipadaha, sampado naiva sampadaha, vipad vismaranam Vishno, sampan narayana smritim. Excellent verse. The meaning is, misfortune is not the real misfortune. Fortune is not the real fortune. To forget God is verily misfortune. To remember God is verily fortune. So let us try to understand, build up our life, and cultivate love towards God. Then God is pleased. Then we receive God's grace. That God's grace purifies our heart. And it gives us the experience of bliss, samadhi. Then we are liberated forever. So, these are the points which I wanted to tell regarding my previous class. Page 323. Master said to Keshav, all depends on God's will. O Mother, all is done after thine own sweet will. Thou art in truth self-willed, Redeemer of mankind. Thou workest thine own works, men only call it theirs. In order to take full advantage of the dew, the gardener removes the soil from the Basra rose down to the very root. The plant thrives better on account of the moisture. Perhaps that is why you too are being shaken to the very root. He is referring to Keshav Chandra Sen, who was ill. Hearing this, Keshav and the master laugh. It may be that you will do tremendous things when you come back. Whenever I hear that you are ill, I become extremely restless. After hearing of your last illness, I used to weep to the Divine Mother in the small hours of the morning. I prayed to her, O Mother, if anything happens to Keshav, with whom then shall I talk in Calcutta? Coming to Calcutta, I offered fruits and sweets to the Divine Mother with a prayer for your well-being. The devotees were deeply touched to hear of Sri Ramakrishna's love for Keshav and his longing for the Brahmo leader. Master said, but this time, to tell the truth, I did not feel anxious to that extent. Only for 2 or 3 days did I feel a little worried. Keshav's venerable mother came to the east door of the room, the same door through which Keshav had entered. Umanath said aloud to the master, Sir, here is Mother saluting you. Sri Ramakrishna smiled. Umanath said again, Mother asks you to bless Keshav that he may be cured of his illness. Master said to Keshav's mother, please pray to the Divine Mother, who is the bestower of all bliss. She will take away your troubles. To Keshav, he said, don't spend long hours in the inner apartments. You will sink down and down in the company of ladies. You will feel better if you hear only talk of God. The master uttered these words in a serious voice and then began to laugh like a boy. He said to Keshav, let me see your hand. He waved it playfully like a child. At last he said, no, your hand is light. Hypocrites have heavy hands. Umanath again said to the master from the door, Mother asks you to bless Keshav. Master said gravely, what can I do? God alone blesses all. Thou workest thine own work. Men only call it theirs. God laughs on 2 occasions. He laughs when 2 brothers divide land between them. They put a string across the land and say to each other, this side is mine and that side is yours. God laughs and says to himself, why? This whole universe is mine. and about a little clod they say, this side is mine and that side is yours. God laughs again when the physician says to the mother, weeping bitterly because of her child's desperate illness, don't be afraid, mother, I shall cure your child. The physician doesn't know that no one can save the child if God wills that he should die. Just then Keshav was seized with a fit of coughing which lasted for a long time. The sight of his suffering made everyone sad. He became exhausted and could stay no longer. He bowed low before the master and left the room, holding to the wall as before. Some refreshments had been arranged for the master. Keshav's eldest son was seated near him. Amrita introduced the boy and requested Sri Ramakrishna to bless him. The master said, "It is not given to me to bless anyone." With a sweet smile, he stroked the boy's body gently. Amrita, with a smile, "All right, then do as you please." Master to devotees, "I cannot say such a thing as may you be healed. I never asked the Divine Mother to give me the power of healing. I pray to her only for pure love." Is Keshav a small person? He is respected by all, seekers after wealth as well as holy men. Once I visited Dayananda, who was then staying at a garden house. I saw he was extremely anxious about Keshav's coming. He went out every few minutes to see whether he had arrived. I learnt later on that Keshav had made an appointment with him that day. Keshav, I understood, had no faith in the sacrifices and the deities mentioned in the Vedas. Referring to this, Dayananda said, "Why? The Lord has created so many things. Could he not make deities as well?" Continuing, the master said, "Keshav is free from the pride of a small-minded religious teacher. To many people he has said, 'If you have any doubts, go there,' that is to Sri Ramakrishna, to have them solved. It is my way too to say, what shall I do with people's respect? Let Keshav's virtues increase 1,000,000-fold. Keshav is certainly a great man. Everyone respects him, seekers after wealth as well as holy men." Thus did Sri Ramakrishna praise Keshav before the latter's disciples. After partaking of the refreshments, the master was ready to leave. The Brahmo devotees accompanied him to the cab, which was standing in the street. While coming down the stairs, the master noticed that there was no light on the ground floor. He said to Amrita and Keshav's other disciples, "These places should be well lighted. A house without light becomes stricken with poverty. Please see that it doesn't happen again." Then Sri Ramakrishna left for Dakshineshwar with 1 or 2 devotees. We shall stop here. There he means all the doubts regarding the nature of the Atman, regarding his own true self. They all get solved. There is no more doubt in the mind about that. So when the mind is free from doubts, not only that, when he reaches the highest state of samadhi, that's the point where all the doubts are removed. So a person who has attained samadhi is an illumined person. So he sees God of the world anymore. As far as he is concerned, he is always peaceful and joyful. And he tries to share the same thing with others who come to him because of his experience. That's why we find people coming to Sri Ramakrishna with so many things. Once they come to see Sri Ramakrishna, most of the doubts were cleared off even without asking. It's because the power of purity is such, it burns away all the impurities of a person. Doubts are nothing but impurities. Ignorance, in a way. So that ignorance is destroyed when you are in front of a holy man of such high state. So that's the meaning. So as I told earlier, mind gets total refinement. It becomes totally refined, thoroughly pure. Then only he will reach the samadhi state. So once he is able to perceive God in that highest state, that means he is liberated from all bondage whatsoever. That's the idea. What exactly you want to know? No, there are two ways. One is, in an apparent way, he may be restless, apparently. For example, when he is dealing with work or when he is handling some affairs, he may look like that. But it's also true. There's the indication, there's no doubt about it, that a person who has reached the highest state of samadhi, he cannot be restless at all. He will be restless if he is brought down from that highest level of consciousness. He needs sattvic people around him so that his mind remains calm. He can't tolerate anymore the worldly atmosphere, whatever it is. That's true. There are different stages of spiritual achievements. Samadhi is the highest state, which is the final culmination of our practices. When he saw the dead man, when he saw the old man, all these things, they prepared the ground for him to renounce the worldly associations, and he took a strong decision to find out the truth. What is the mystery behind all these things? He wanted to know that. So, these observations led him that way. He was not trapped by the world as ordinary people will do, but he learnt a lesson. No, I must find out the truth. Let me find out myself. So he took a strong resolve. That strong resolve was possible because his mind was so much impressed. It was a deep shock to him because all along he was in palace, he was not exposed to these things. But once he came out and saw these things, then he began to question about these things, and he wanted to find out the answer himself. It's called direct revelation. So he went and with a determination he sat through meditation, and finally he got illumination, which we call nirvana. Then he became peaceful. That's true. It's a stage. Actually, world is meant to give training to cultivate renunciation. We have come to this world to learn renunciation, not to hug the world, to reject the world. Hugging the world, you are lost. Renouncing the world, you are saved. That's the way. Hugging the world means you are the prisoner of the world. You are the prisoner of your own nature. You are imprisoned by your mind. You are helpless, terribly helpless. See, one person, I read it in the newspaper, in the Chicago Tribune. A person repeatedly committed molestation of young boys, kids. Finally he was caught and he was imprisoned and he was sentenced. And that person was telling to the jury that if I am released, I will again do the same thing. He doesn't want to do, but he can't help it. He has reached that state. He knows it is bad, but he can't help it. Because the mind has crossed that barrier. He is imprisoned by his own mind. He is imprisoned by his own mind. Nobody can save. None. That is the situation. That's what I am telling. So we have come into this world not to be imprisoned by the world, but to work out our liberation. But this is the place where everybody has to come. Even angels have to come here. Gods. That means ordinary gods. It's a godhood. Suppose you do some meritorious act, you become one god in heaven, having some powers, some occult powers, making siddhi. A man is suffering from headache, you touch his head, he will be free from headache. He is suffering from fever, you utter something, he is freed from fever. What is this? So, if a person has to realize his true nature, he has to come to this planet. However difficult it is, we have to work out. There is no other way. It has become difficult because we have allowed the mind to drift like that. We have allowed the mind to drift downwards, and it has gained momentum. It is going in an accelerated speed. You can't check it anymore. You don't have any control over it. No brakes, only crash. Yeah. What doubt is there? What doubt is there? At least mentally you must renounce. Sri Ramakrishna tells, for householders, how can they renounce? They have got responsibilities, they have got so many things. But Sri Ramakrishna advises them, mental renunciation. Practice it. If you don't practice, you won't get. That's the point. You have to get everything through your own hard effort. Practicing non-attachment is also you have to do it. If you don't practice non-attachment, the more and more you become attached, the more and more your mind is bogged down. The more attachment, the more mind is sagging down, becoming loose. That's the point. So, everything is in our hands. Everything is in our hands. In one way, everything is God's will. In another way, difficulties come, they are eye-openers. They are eye-openers. Unless the difficulties come, you won't learn. Unless the child falls 2-3 times, he can't walk. He learns walking only after stumbling 2-3 times. No, devotion is, he is giving high price for the devotion. Devotion means love of God. That you have to cherish it yourself. That is your, through your own effort, you have to cultivate that love of God. Then liberation will come. Liberation is easy to get, not the love of God. That's what Sri Ramakrishna was telling. Concentration, meditation. If you don't develop love of God, what is the use of your life? So you must develop love of God, prema bhakti. Then you enjoy the beauty of life. Otherwise life will be dry. If you want to beautify your life, try to use the element of love in a proper way. Understand and develop. There lies the secret. Alright, we shall close. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name that bought for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue. The playthings of lust are the toys of fame, as many times as I may be reborn. Grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for Thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is Thy servant. O sweet one, in Thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath Thy feet. O how I long for the day when instant separation from Thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without Thee is a heartless void. Prostrated at Thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of Thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of Thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O Thou who stealest the hearts of Thy devotees, do with me what Thou wilt, for Thou art my heart's beloved, Thou and Thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers. May all realize what is good. May all be actuated by noble thoughts. May all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy. May all be free from disease. May all realize what is good. May none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous attain tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bonds. May the freed make others free. May good betide all people. May the sovereign righteously rule the earth. May all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For He being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.